At 41, Doris Day's grandson finally liberates the Silencian reveals the secret that had been hidden for the secret that Wuchen Athens remembered beloved. Doris Day was in as America's with the art woman, with the golden voice and Andrade smile was like visima das perfectas films, she starred in but behind the scenes, beyond the cameras and applause. There was sent out the story on the Tremaine locked away until Natal Beginnina's small coastal town where her grandson, now 41, had spent much of his life away from the spotlight, unlike his famous grandmother. A preferred private side cruising a quiet life far from Hollywood's glamour buzz the years past, had begun to feel fulfill the truth that had been passed down in fragments, whispered Slady at night. Old letters hidden in drawers, and conversations that ended abruptly whenever he entered the room. Growing up, he knew his grandmother as kind, soft-spoken, and deep-like protective shrewd smiley ofen butteru assassinus in herasity couldn't kitty understand dit was in life ter her sympathies. He discovered a collection of funerals careful I rapidan hid in a way that were not meant for public spook curiosity and deep need to understand, of trust broken by those closest to her. And off sacrifices he made it to protect the people she loved Mastonian try to describe the night to change endeavor that Koshima to define it. The emotion was clear fear, heartbreak, and an unwavering determination to shield her family from pain. As you read further, he realized that had Doris Day had levied much of Furlai Feckery and Gab Burden silent Lycia chosen to maintain her public image even when her private world way. It would at the peak off her career while often speculate about the reasons. The truth was far more personal, the chosen peace over fame. From the over for Nitwith that had few understood at the time being a thought to find it her legal sound away number of either could her grandson struggled with. It dead to share her story not a shakur sensationalize but a honorer truth wanted people to note the Tevin the Z imperfect carry hidden. Sharing the truth brought to many Epson's opposite a tways safari and Tad being lifted dallowing him to his grandmother not just a star beauty a campo. Brave woman who lived life on her own terms in the end. The secret she kept for decades was not just about pain or loss, was about strength, resilience, and the quiet power of choosing love above all else, and perhaps that is the legacy she always wanted to leave behind. At 41, Doris Day's grandson continues to uncover more layers softly light, carefully kept hidden, and with each passing day at the store of Beccamis of Emmerich Complex Sandamodi, a deep dive into the heart of woman will spend her entire life balancing fame and personal sacrifices Shikanda's reading to journals. He begins to notice patterns, moments, where her writing becomes more fragile. Almost as if she was speaking directly to herself, trying to stay strong through situations thought would have broke keening and Niels at the mentioned soft pitch. Bolofo paying happiness 4 million surround the world she admits hat the word days, wenchful completely yellow evening rooms filled with peepee in. The fit was really understood it was not just that cause 4 herod ways of therapy way to front emotional wounds she couldn't have her publicly acknowledge yet. For and after from me, their story of Sadmer, piece of stop, puzzled, didic about her kindness, sure quiet, genericid, and her ability to forgive even when she. Journal cited something, that clearly changed yet her life forever something shekasik with a rather thin reveal the world her grandson feels. Oisy theories of power thought words cannot fully capture eventually head aside still sharingly what the belly of Eswood have one teth world toke no naft. Liga Sai of all this from Molly Woodick into human story of survival and grace for her grandson. This journey changes of everything hun along her seashore is just. Hair hollow deep plivin when life gave a here re-racing to close her heart in the final moment sophistry here reflexing on a lasting tree from Mare Journal for one. Doris Day's grandson finds him the film will talk away from the store because with a memory and a very hidden detail he uncovers. He feels close to understanding to true it up though for her life with unceasing like a closed chapter no feels like an unfinished or is still waiting Tobit. About gratitude is clear that Tamia Javan her some mething she never had before understand Dingen and Trisha described sitting with the OC and listen. Belongings to tip fragile but still playable with some offer telestens glossy and for the fierce I main his life Hersher was no test of perfo. T become as stronger more certain she says that and no naftos first mattered was love with the love she gave him the love she see videv. Story of survival in a world that often demands perfection at the coast off truth the shepherd Paris though share theft and alpertoff her story feels the sins off respond. Ian Harrafuse o toilet painted into bitterness she shares the massage she left behind in her own words so if flivid with love will allow ways benuffed were. Cause that the story I so rebut because Final understands it's a stories or not me until binless the error meant. Tob fell tremembred and carried forward Dan Dash Luke's that the same since wrote about smiles knowing that the legacy is no longer just hid for one. Doris Day's grandson feels that Teventhoff has heard so much. There he is still a Nephanolero for store, a thought lingers in his heart, not something written or recorded, but some mething and now carries within himself a feel. Splacia feels sure presence noted now osly wavered in thinner gathicalness, decent of stillness, that's around Shamita says if she left behind peak. Shoslin Swinoters wooed Hofkas and Angeran Czechosloviev and Wanik Kimi but those words stay with him long of turthy conversation end. And written words imply it powerful shried as if I were reading this and you are searching for answers, but life isn't about knowing everything jidasa. Tep back from Tepablai has stole her storana tuzza gossip or headline busadger, understanding gone no feels she's realized complete heckers. Met place dot connect to theme across me a close she's I Sam for the fierce time heist not searching for answers she's at peace because from the landers for one. Doris Day's grandson realizes the Tevin after everything has. Her read the story still a reason way she never expected because an itis no longer just about it. Gratitude with tears, butyl carrying Ganicum and thread connection itis intis a moment she understands that the secret was never me on Tobias. Orialization to changing completely he understands the twill carry untold stories within us parts of for live eswekis and not because well. And set close, she's I Sam for Emma and tight feel safe of shice still the renataza memory beat the saggetting present ceraminding hamo fever thing she stewed foreign. You understand dingo photos because it knows the terrianized fighting battlist that may never be seen heckerish listen with him read denotus aberd. End journal I thought inspired by everything she left behind writes she did not the der her trud she protected I tuntilth world was read it to understand it. Final I understands that some historias areneless not because they continue to reveal in the secrets but because they keep growing inside people no temadai of it no taste sensational interview be to simply room fillet with people who admired her not just as a star beauty a person has stands before them. Stirum falls as island not because Shavshak but because of recognition people easy themselves in. His words they understand of the life of mirror styro. Sastam and Mufsa Nebigan stole it of the identity of being on who revealed her secreted instead embraces being some carries her trufferer. Answer at the seer ethereal pages soft hester run out here nest hat continue beyond in can paper in his final reflection here realizes the tis grandmotherly. I it lie until it is listened with that the story finally fins its stringing note and revelation beauty and transformation not an answers beauty underst. Thought some stories areneless not because they continue to reveal in the secrets but because that they keep growing inside people who hardly man no wish Joe. Tay sensational interview be to simply a roomful with people who admired her not just Stasa star beauty a person has stands before them not with notes of prep. To not because Shavsak but because of recognition people easy themselves in. His words they understand that the life of mirrors thyron and waste head and eve. Jin stole it of the identity of being done whole revealed her secret and instead embraces being some carries her truff forward has stopped searching. Ariel pages off Hestera and nest hat continue beyond in can paper in his final reflection he realizes the tis grandmother did not behin das. Illistened with that the story finally fins its stringing note and revelation beating transformation not an answers beating understanding gone note an an. At 41. Doris Day's grandson comes to see the Twathians at the Twasteendoff historize it the Beijing and Goffs something far greater because and now the story is null on. Though Zicho Eshafin saw deep Sinzov connection not just to her but world around him in the longer fields, like the keeper of his secret butter to the ton. Arbute about his own life which will leave behind no for me not success but meaning this question stays with him because I is decimicushin her life aki. Not fourth world, but fourth as a how long dare remember him just as share remember shares the earth her name continues to shin in world dofin turda. EO sent the same mean less wave as these imagine to win, but this demetherize no search, no questions, no need for answers and the gratitude he understands nota. Powerful stories are the ones we live not the ones we tell with that the journey becomes timeless living on not in words but in every heart it touches forever. More. At 41. Doris Day's grandson finally accepts that the rest nothing go fast to me however things still continues because that the story is moved beyond words beyond pag. Erdemonding Tobe seen has stopped trying to revisit the past because he understands that the past has a ready Javana Meverith and Jakut instead of focus. Ing Husler Ned Hesmiles not because of what is but because of what understands that this is Sholagus surviving out their famous secrets spew. A memory beaut a part of who is a quiet strength until wisdom and Dane unshakable belief that Tevin in a short life iralong in a teacher measurio fitwilla. Sends off clarity he is now the life was never me on toeful I explain because I'd spourly's a neat simplicity quiet choices he made ever. Memory beauteous a living presence that moves forward through a man through no hoss ever felt the depth over journey when even in gaseous it's a lone wall. O complete literice nothing golf tozy arch nothing golf to prove and nothing golf to reveal because that the story is out reading what tight was meant to doith. Dint the silent power of all live life and dastum and moves theorius. No for now captor not closing scene line open paw where her lead gassy walks beside Haima 41. Doris Day's grandson finally accepts the Tevin ongoing stream of words can naturally contain water life presented because of Themer Hetrius to extent. Our paramo represent meaning fullest if has final or Nedto see what ways a waste hera but previously over Lucid's Malix off of Maddie now stando. Shifting along or seashore so my own defined by Mysterio or Evan Befame be a person hounder stewed some nothing profound about being human that painand. Bilita Tolukatharon lives Morgan lim more honest line more lovingly, without fear of imperfection nor incomplete historias and so lasteriason. In gover assumption nan love over silence into this worth the story, finally, and quiet Libby comes endless. What she kept hidden for decades, and the world finally begins to zibanda sinus life feather twas were rid from the perfect Dolly Woody Madwon. For years, Doris Day was seen as the symbol of happiness, charm, and classic American cinema. But behind that smile, there were stories that were never shared publicly, and now her grandson has decided to speak, not to create scandal, but to honor the truthful woman Helena Deply. He begins by explaining that growing up, he only knew her as kind, soft-spoken, and private, someone who preferred animals, quiet moments, and simple living over fame and attention. But as he got older, he started noticing that there was always something left unsaid, old photos that were never explained, letters stored away carefully, and moments of silence whenever certain names were mentioned. It ways as if part of her life was locked behind an solo door open. After her passing, that door finally began to open, not through gossip or media, but through personal items she left behind. In her home, he discovered journals that were never meant for the public, pages filled with raw thoughts, emotions, and reflections about loneliness, trust, and sacrifice. She wrote about the pressure of being perfect in front of the world, while feeling completely different inside. She spoke about days when smiling for the camera was easier than explaining pain that no one would understand. One of the most shocking things she found was how often she chose silence over explanation, not because she was weak, but because she was protecting people she loved, and protecting her own peace. There were entries about broken trust, missed opportunities, and sacrifices made for family and career. But there was no bitterness, only a deep sense of acceptance at life edge of her both beauty and struggle. Her grandson explains that one of the biggest misunderstandings about Doris Day was that people thought she lived a perfect life, but in reality, she had experienced deep emotional loss, financial struggles at certain points, and lonely periods where even fame could not fill the emptiness she sometimes felt. Since reteth that being loved by millions didn't entail waste mean feeling gunderstood das a person. He also reveals that she had a deep connection with the Nimble Sanja said thought la visa formo feeling. When human relationships became complicated or painful, she found comfort in rescuing and caring for animals. They were her safe place, her peace, and her way of giving love without conditions. As he continues sharing her story, he mentions that she often chose to step away from Hollywood not because she was forced, but because she wanted a quiet life, far from pressure and public expectation. She valued privacy more than fame, and at one point, she made the conscious decision to live a Maurice-related BBC life, which many people never fully understood at the time. He describes finding letters she never sent, written to people from her past, some filled with love, some with regret, and some simply expressing things she never had the chance to say out loud. These letters shout a person hopeful deply betoff and kept those feelings shinta hurt and go through sore creating public drama. As the story continues, her grandson makes clear that he is not revealing these things to change how people loved her, but to show how human she really was. She was not just a screen con. She was a woman who experienced fear, hope, loss, joy, and sacrifice just like anyone else. He shares how reading her private writings changed him forever, because he realized that strength does not always look loud or visible. Sometimes strength is the ability to carry pain quietly, to protect others even at personal cost, and to keep going even when life feels heavy. In the final part of his revelation, assessed that what she kept hidden for it this wasn't a single scandalous secret event, but a collection of emotions, choices, and moments that she never felt the need to explain to the world. She believed that some parts of life belonged only to the heart. He ends by saying that Doris Day's true leaks is not only her movie sore fame, but her quiet strength, her compassion, and her ability to live with grace even when life was not easy. And now that her truth is known, she is remembered not only as a star, but a serial human being Helena Deply, struggled silently, and chose peace over noise, and in the end, her grandson says that maybe the greatest secret she ever kept was not something dark, but something beautiful. The ability to tolerate life for that did not need to be explained to be meaningful. At 41, Doris Day's grandson continues the revelation, and what started Day's simple from the little discovery has no become a journey into understanding who she really was beyond the public image. After sharing the first part of her hidden journals, he receives an overwhelming response from fans around the world. But what matters most to him is not the attention, it is the realization that so many people feel connected to her struggle without ever knowing it existed. He explains that as he went deeper into her personal belongings, he found something even more emotional than the journals, old home videos and private recordings where she was not performing for the camera. In those moments, she was laughing naturally, talking softly to friends, and sometimes just sitting in silence, enjoying simple peace. I was at the public release, not the Hollywood star, but the private woman who preferred come-over crowds. One of the most striking things he mentions is how often she spoke about the need for privacy, not because she disliked fame, but because she understood the cost of it. She once wrote in her notes that being known by millions did not guarantee being understood by anyone, and that sentence became the core of what he now wants people to understand. He reveals that there were periods in her life where she chose isolation